Your opinion, I would definitely think that's kind of sufficient.
So you're gonna invoke an ad populum fallacy, aren't you?
Not necessarily. I personally have faith, but I'm trying to put it into projection that you can, try to re- relate to.
Okay, great. So do you have any actual evidence or fallacious arguments that don't work?
Actually, I do. Brother Abraham. That's what the Muslims in the Quran study. My brother Abraham, his bloodline's actually still alive to this day. On top of that, you can look at many other ways. You can look at how.
So because somebody existed, that means they're God?
No. I said the fact that his bloodline exists to this day means that Abraham was real, meaning that the book that
It
he read,
doesn't mean he's
aka
a
the
God.
Quran.
That doesn't make him God,
No,
right?
no, 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 no. I'm stating the fact that he's the one that read. I don't know if you know what the Quran is, but he's the one that wrote the Quran, which is what Muslims believe in. So his bloodline's alive. So if his bloodline's alive, that means there was an Abraham, meaning
Okay, that
it's
doesn't make
definitely
him
likely for
God.
there
It
to be a
doesn't mean
Bible.
that God exists, though. This is non sequitur.
You said what? It's not secular. What's not what?
It doesn't follow that because this person existed that God exists.
Okay, well, I mean, so like, if that's say you're right, say you're right, say you're right. Say his argument so it's just straight dumb, right? Then what's your mindset? What happens when you die, buddy? Say you're right. I'm not
When
gonna,
you die, you rot away. Nobody cares about you anymore. Big deal. Get over it.
Damn. So who hurt your heart, buddy?
It's not hurt. It's called reality. Get used to it.
But you are the only one who you're the only one who's that's mindset is on that. Like the most of the more than how most of the world is against that. They believe in the
It
afterlife.
doesn't make you correct. That's an odd populum.
And then what's in your reference from We've Been to the Moon is what space rocks and what a footprint.
We can literally see tracks with telescopes. We can see the
Really?
tracks of the people on the moon with telescopes. Yeah, that's another piece of evidence. But we also have the moon rocks, the laser reflectors. We also have footage and
So
documents.
a laser reflector is just a laser that bounces off of light and bounces back to Earth. So what's that evidence of? That's not evidence that you've been to the moon.
How did it get onto the moon if we weren't there?
It's light. You don't have to be on the moon for me to. I don't have to be on
There's
the
a
moon.
reflector on the moon, sir.
All right. So hold on. Let me. This is super basic. This is super basic. Check it out. Check it out. Look. So if you did you do this? Did you do this experiment?
Anybody can do it, sir. All you gotta do is take a course in science, and you understand how to measure the distance from Earth to the moon. That's why we put the reflector there in the first place.
Okay. So if you've been to the moon, right? Besides your little, your I don't consider your cameras or pictures or videos any evident, any very, I don't consider that evident proof because I can make a movie of being Iron Man or Superman. So that shit comes right out the window when you use any computer
Not
or
the
film.
only piece of evidence, sir. And by the way, it would not be a good reason to think it didn't happen because CGI was not commercially available in 1960 fucking 8.
So regardless of actually that's not true. CGI was there, just not in that
It
context.
was not sufficient enough to make the things that we see in the footage.
No,
How
but
the
you can.
fuck
There
do you
was there
take
was
the
a it was sufficient enough to make movies actually and use green screens. So what's your
but it would not have the quality that we see with the footage on the moon.
The quality is ass. What are you talking about? Have you seen Apollo 11? The quality is trash.
I'm not talking about the resolution. I'm talking about the quality of
Dude,
consistency
I
within it.
can make a movie
It
right
it
now of
shows
being on
us
the
that
moon.
there's no CGI being done to it because it's extremely consistent footage.
Dude, the footage was trash. Ask your viewers. They're all saying the same thing. Dude, are
I
you...
know the resolution was bad, but it
Hold
doesn't
on.
make it fake.
All right, fine. If you're clearly a logistics inside, you want proof, right? You're one of those guys. So let me ask you a quick question. Besides your evidential proof, why do you not believe in another well-being or another power, higher creator power?
There's no evidence of it.
So you think you just magically came out of a monkey and like just became a human? Because you believe in evolution, right?
I'm done with this shit, bro. You can't be serious. There's no way you're real. There's no way you're real. You think we come out of a monkey? No, we come out of God. He's some magic.
Stage, you said I can't believe that you're real. Hold that thought for me. All right. That guy, I don't know what he was saying, but I was enjoying it. I don't know why I kicked him off. Quick question. So you're saying God is a figment of my imagination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Oh, you're a smart guy. And I mean that by the way, because I'm really, really, really looking for an answer. So, if God is a figment of my imagination, so are you also a figment of my imagination? I
I
mean,
never
if
said that we're I never said that we're imaginary. So I'm saying your God is imaginary.
no, no, I'm saying absolutely. I mean, I'm in that position. But if my God is a imaginary, which means it's a figment of my imagination, also because I believe in God, therefore I must be. You know what I'm saying? I accept that it's a figment of my imagination. So, if God is a figment of my imagination, are you also a figment of my imagination? If not, then how do I tell the
No,
difference between? Oh,
because you're
brother.
tangible. We can measure you. We can observe you. We can falsify you. We cannot falsify God.
I mean, how are you gonna in what measurement are you going to
We're talking.
measure?
We're talking right now. We're talking right now. That's
Wait, are
evidence that
you
you exist.
wait? Are you telling me it's not entirely possible that all of this is happening inside my head?
It's possible, but there's something happening here that we can falsify. I can talk to you
How?
again. I can talk to you in certain other conditions. That's falsifiability. Falsifiability. What you're doing with God is not analogous because you're simply saying God is real. Trust me, bro. That is
So
unevident.
so so who's going to falsify that? You?
Yes, anybody
Okay.
can falsify it. Now, how
Right,
do you
right, right.
falsify God? How do you falsify
Right,
God?
right, 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 right. I'm saying is, how do I tell the difference if that you trying to, you know, see me in a different environment, trying to falsify me? How do I know if that is not a figment of my imagination? In what measurement can I? Okay, listen.
Look, you're
What I'm
not.
trying to say
Look,
too
look,
is
sir.
the
Please,
line.
you're so confused. I understand I cannot solve solipsism. I understand that we may be brains in a vat. This may be an illusion. But the problem is that you're making a specific claim about God. You're saying that God exists for sure. It seems to me completely made up by you. Okay? We're not talking about the nature of reality. I'm talking about God, right? So I want some evidence for God existence. Not that I exist in any absolute sense. That's not the point of contention here. The point of contention is your God. Okay? So give evidence for God or go away.
All right, Mike. I gotta exit this one because I know maybe we can go back and forth and it's gonna be here in ages, just like they've been here for thousands of years. So it's not gonna get solved tonight.
All
So.
right. Have a good day, sir. Enjoy your day. Holy shit. Hi, how are
Good day, Mike. Good day. Hey, sir, I want to say that you are not alone. All right. Uh, you are a breath of fresh air. Please don't turn me off. All right. It's long overdue that the world takes a step back, reevaluates, recalibrates our belief system. Until we are united in what we don't know, in our uncertainties, nothing will ever change in this world. Nothing. Until we can accept our mortality and accept reality for what it is. We live in a world of pretenders, and peer pressure's a motherfucker. Look around in this whole world, sir. Look around the whole world. World leaders are caving to peer pressure. They're
you?
Yo, what's up?
Hey, how can I help you?
All right, so I completely agree with you on the aspect of like Christianity's bullshit, Islam's bullshit, all that's bullshit. So I have a question. You're a very logical person, so I'm assuming you don't believe in anything like spiritual or like woo-woo, I'd say.
Yeah, it depends on what you mean by spirituality, but yeah, typically I don't believe anything supernatural or, beyond things that are measurable.
All right, so are you familiar with the concept of spiritual enlightenment then?
I've heard of it, but what's your point? What's your evidence for this shit?
Well, this is something that, like you say, like the reason you don't believe in stuff like this is because there's no direct evidence of God. There's no rationale towards it. But spiritual enlightenment literally is a direct way to experience God. Like you
Okay,
can literally do
so
it
how do
now
I
if
do
you
it?
wanted to.
Okay, let's do it now. How do we do it?
Well, not right now. There's an easy way and a hard way. You're not going to like the hard way, or you're not going to like either of them, but
Okay, how do we find God right now?
if you want to find God, you could meditate, which that's the long way. That'll take 60 years. You can do self-inquiry. That meditation isn't that. It's like it's not going to be right now. If you want to do it right now, you have to take 5-MeO DMT.
Okay, so take drugs and find God? Okay. How
Do
about the,
do you do
how
you
about the,
think
how about the people that take drugs and still are unconvinced about God? How about
there
that? What would you say
there's
there?
no correlation between psychedelics and drugs? They're completely different, and there's been a bad societal stigma on
Okay, great.
psychedelics.
So for the ones who take the psychedelics and are unconvinced by these claims about God or don't see God or don't experience these things, what do you say about those?
I dare you to find a person who has taken 5-MeO DMT and claim that they haven't experienced being God.
Well, this isn't a good argument, right? I'm saying, I'm sure there's somebody out there, right? There's 8 billion people on the planet. I'm sure somebody has taken these drugs and was not convinced. Are you, unless you're going to tell me that every person who's taking psychedelics believes in God? Are you saying that?
Well, I'm not saying psychedelics as a whole. Drugs is a very wide spectrum, and I wouldn't even include psychedelics in the.
Look, sir, are you saying that every person who took psychedelics believes in God? Are you truly saying this?
I'm gonna say that every person who has taken 5-MeO DMT is or has. Yes, I will confidently make that claim.
Every single person. So you're saying every person who's taken these things believe in God. Can you demonstrate this for us?
Uh, how could I do that over the TikTok? Like,
Okay, so you don't have evidence for this, number one. Number two, how even if
well,
you're
no,
correct,
there's plenty of
hold
evidence. You
on.
can go on
Even
YouTube.
if you were correct that these
Okay.
people all believe in God, how did you falsify their experience? How did you falsify your experience? What if it was a hallucination? How do you know it wasn't?
That's the thing. It is a possibility. You can't just take this other people's testimonials and anecdotes as truth
Then you
in
don't
that
have evidence, sir, because it's unfalsifiable. You don't
because you
know.
can't have evidence, you can't have truth for something that is infinite. Do you understand that? We live
How do you know it's what do you mean by it being infinite? That's a claim you're attaching to your paradigm. I'm asking you
oh,
for something falsifiable, and it
d-
seems like you're unable to do so.
do you think reality is infinite?
I don't know what that means.
Is reality finite or infinite?
In what way?
What what do you mean what way?
There's
In
many ways to
every
be infinite,
aspect.
sir. There's many ways to be infinite. I could be an infinite jackass. I could be infinitely
That's
tall.
not,
I
you
could be
can measure how
infinitely
big of a jackass
fat.
you are.
What do you mean by infinite?
I mean infinite in space, time,
In
any.
space and time?
a-
Yeah, I think that's possible. What's your
Okay, so
point now? What's your point now?
I'm saying you're trying to justify truth of what I'm trying to say by you need to be able to write it down, for example, but you can't write truth in a finite equation per se if the truth is infinite.
Truth is not infinite. Truth is merely that which describes reality. There's
Truth
nothing infinite
truth is
about truth.
absolutely infinite because reality is
How
infinite.
is a language, how are descriptive statements infinite? How does that make any sense?
Language isn't infinite, it's a finite tool we use to
Okay,
try
great.
to
So
understand
then you
reality.
concede, and under my view, in which truth is descriptive, truth is finite. It's not an infinite thing. So there you go. We don't have to subscribe to your paradigm of everything being infinite. That's nonsense.
I'm not saying this is something you can directly experience. There's plenty of people on YouTube who talk about this, and I would actually highly recommend you check this out
I'm
because
sorry, sir, but YouTube people is not good enough evidence for me. I want
w-
something that we
do
can
you want a guy with a PhD to
falsify.
come to your house and say God's not real?
I don't
That's
want a
that's an appeal to
PhD
authority.
person. Exactly. That's what you're doing. You're going, oh, look at this person on YouTube. He says the thing, therefore it's true. No.
No, I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying he
Look.
can.
Evidence is something falsifiable by nature. It is something we can test. It is something that leads to something over another conclusion. If you don't have that, you don't have evidence.
I'm trying to say that I couldn't give you evidence like over TikTok, for example, because it would be finite.
I understand that. I
This is
understand that.
something
But
you have to
can you point me
directly
to?
experience.
I understand that, but can you point me in the direction? Give me the logic behind your reasoning, right? Like, what's your line of reasoning that gets you to God? Is it I had an experience, therefore God? That seems like a bad argument to me.
Well, I feel like direct experience is the best source of truth. You can take other people's like PhD or in professors, you can take their truth, but if you want to discover what's true for yourself, you need to do the work on your own.
Look, I agree that experience would be good evidence unless it's falsifiable. Unfortunately, no experience I know of when it comes to in relation to God or spirituality are falsifiable. Every
What do you
experience you have is just like, oh, I felt something I never felt before. There must be some magic infinite being. That seems to be intuition based and doesn't seem to be evidence based to me.
So are you trying to say that like I'm just trying to get us clear here. So by what do you mean by falsifiable? Like it can be proven false?
Yeah, it can be proven true or false, or it can be tested against reality. You can't do that with your belief in God.
Well, there's certain things you can do to experience this directly, and this isn't like any experience you've ever had because there's levels to consciousness. Do you agree with that statement, or do you just believe that?
Yeah, this has no bearing on God, though, right? Just because
No,
there's
it
different levels
absolutely
of
does.
consciousness, this doesn't mean God exists.
I'm trying to give you the tools to find God for yourself, and I hate saying find God
Look,
because
we
that's
have naturalist. Look, even if I were to take those psychedelics, it still wouldn't be evidence for God, if even if I had an experience, because there could be a naturalistic explanation behind that, right? There could be some kind of hallucinatory thing happening, illusory thing happening that we just don't understand yet. For some reason, you're
okay.
discounting possibilities. Why? Why do you assume it must be evidence for God?
Okay,
Why?
yeah. Let's assume that. Let's assume that every person who has taken the psychedelic I've said it was just a hallucination and they were just tripping off their balls and none of it was real. There are sober, so to speak, methods of doing this.
Where? Good. What is it?
There are certain forms of yoga kriya.
Okay, and when I do yoga, what are you saying? Every person that's done yoga, they believe in God now? That they've seen evidence for God?
What I'm saying is people who do yoga the correct way, not this westernized, bastardized version of yoga. That's bullshit. Like I'm talking real yoga. That is a very true way to find God. And
But
any
what are you
person who is
experiencing when you move your leg this way? What do you experience? Like magic? Like what are you experiencing?
again like you said and like I said, language is finite. I can't convey what that would mean in a finite manner. That's something you literally have to experience for yourself.
Okay, so how do we falsify this though? I understand that I can't you can't show me how to do yoga, but how did you falsify this yoga experience and determine that it's God?
Well, if I was trying to falsify it, I would be like, all right, I don't know if this works or not, so I'm going to try it out myself. So I
You're
did
not
it.
you're not understanding. How did you determine that it worked in the first place?
You have to do it.
But
No,
if I do it, how do you know it worked and I found God? How did you determine that? What was your reasoning behind that?
I'm confused what you're trying to say. If you do something,
Look, I understand. You cannot replicate yoga on a TikTok live. What I'm asking you is your reasoning. What's the reasoning behind your conclusion that I experienced yoga, now therefore God exists? That's what I'm asking you to get to that syllogism.
Are you asking me like why yoga leads you to God?
Yeah, what how did you know that yoga leads you to God and not something else?
Well, it's irrelevant whether or not you know. It simply does.
Okay. How big yeah, I can't
All right, have
reason.
a good day.
Yeah, I can't reason with someone like that. It just does, right? That's not a good argument because I could just say equally, inversely, it just doesn't, right? It just doesn't. It's not a good reasoning.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I do have to be really quick, but I just want to make the point on why I believe in God. I just don't believe that we just popped out of nowhere, and I don't think we evolved from blobs. I feel like that what started first, the chicken or the egg, right? I'm arguing with some dude in the chat, and it's like, what happened? Did eggs just like magically appear randomly? Like, if you mathematically think about it, like human beings and species just don't pop up. And if it was like that,
Okay.
we would be
Okay.
like Star Wars and see other fucking aliens and shit, you know?
Okay. So we have a very good explanation for as to why life arose. It's chemistry. There are a series of a cascade of events, chemical events that led to us today. And the question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? That's an invalid
Yeah.
question, I think. I think that there were many precursors before those things. So again, there is a step-like process that yielded life we know today. It took millions and billions of years. So it's not like we just popped into existence one day. That would be a straw man in my position. However, even if I couldn't explain to
Exactly.
you the answer, it wouldn't mean God exists.
I mean, I just feel like that why everybody automatically hates God or thinks he isn't existing because of the religion and people ruining it. But to be honest, it's like it's not about religion. There's people who find God outside of Christianity, outside of Muslim. Like there's no religion to it. It's just a creator. And what it is,
Okay,
it's
okay,
culture.
great. Okay, great.
Culture,
So let's say
we're
creator.
all
What do you mean by
divine.
creator? What do you mean by creator? What is that?
Like something made us. Like we were made. Like we cannot
Made from what?
the way
Made
our
from what?
bodies are and the way we talk to each other, this whole thing, this whole
Made from
world.
what? Made from what?
Like you think that you're just gonna die and go to the ground? Do you really think that you're just gonna die and there's nothing? Like you really believe that?
Yeah, and that seems like reality. I never
What
talked
about
to
other
somebody that
dimensions?
died. I've never talked to a dead person before. It seems like when you
But
die,
that's the
that's it.
thing though.
Look, ma'am,
I know, but there's a lot of people out there who actually have dealt with
ma'am,
apparitions,
I
right?
understand you're looking
But you
around the
won't
world.
believe them because you
I understand you're looking around the world and going, wow, we exist. We're alive. We're breathing. Wow, there must be somebody doing this. I understand that's your position. The problem is that this is an argument from incredulity. Right? It's very fallacious to use this line of reasoning because we have ulterior explanations. Again, chemistry, biology, physics, all of these naturalistic explanations do a better job in thoroughly explaining life than, oh, magic guy did it. That's not a good theory. Okay. Whereas we have better ideas under naturalism, and to me, you're not presenting any good evidence that God exists. All you're simply doing is, I don't know why, therefore God. That seems fallacious to me. So please please give either valid reasoning or good evidence for God. If you're talking, you have to unmute yourself. It's the microphone button. The microphone. Just tap it. Just tap the microphone.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't really do this a lot, and I'm sorry. I think that's great that you do debates and stuff, but I just in my logic, like in my logic and the education I've been through, I can't see it all just coming from nothing. If you look at a tree seed, you would think, "Oh, that can't be a tree. That'd be magic." But honestly, it grows into this huge gigantic tree.
But that's
That's
not what I
magical. Where did the
believe.
tree come from? It just built itself randomly from the
That's not what we
seed.
believe, though. Right?
The things around you are magic.
Ma'am, right now you're misrepresenting my position, right? You're simply
Change your
saying,
logic, girl.
can
People
you
are
hold
so
on?
mean. Sorry, people are
Can
so
you just
mean.
hold on for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of misrepresenting my position. I'm not saying that everything came from nothing. I'm saying that there were a series of natural explanations and events that took place to yield the life we see today. And that is thoroughly explained through science. We never have to invoke magic or God to explain trees. So again, I'm asking you for reasons as to why God is more likely than just nature.
Okay, so if you look at our solar system, okay, there's just one Earth out of how many planets? Okay, in this solar system. And so far, if you think about statistics, let's go mathematical about it. Look at statistics, okay? How often does nature or energy build and sustain the perfect atmosphere for the perfect bodily, like our heart, our lungs, our everything just kind of works together, right? Our DNA, like how did our whole stepping stone of what you were talking about, how did that even just appear, right? How did that appear? And how come, why just our,
I'm sorry, man.
like
I'm
why
sorry,
this?
man.
And if you think
Man,
statistically,
hold on. I'm choking on my water. I just drank it. Okay. Because we were designed to do this.
exactly, you
Uh,
need water. Isn't
yeah,
that crazy though?
we
Isn't
need
that
water.
crazy? Like how your body is
It's
completely
crazy.
perfect,
It's
right?
crazy that we need water and food to survive for 2 days. And if we don't
Your
get it, we
throat,
die.
your little piece of your little piece in your throat is keeping you from suffocating on water.
Yeah,
That doesn't just happen randomly. Do the
yeah.
statistics. Take a
Nobody said,
statistic
man,
class.
please. I know you want to come up here and steamroll. I understand that. But you're not listening to what I'm telling you. I agree. The body's complex. We are complex beings. It's amazing. It's fucking astounding that we're alive. The issue is we have explanations for these in biology. Now, when you invoke design, I can point out, number one, shitty examples of design in our bodies. One whole to eat and breathe from. Who the fuck would design that? Who would design an atmosphere where some certain molecules can give us disease, right? Or like the ozone layer. There could be holes in it that allow me to get skin cancer from the sun. The point is that the environment we find ourselves in is not one that we would expect under God, because it's more that we would expect it under naturalism, where we are apes, beings able to sufficiently survive enough to reproduce. We die under some conditions, but overall we're able to reproduce. That's what we would expect if it was just nature taking place, natural selection taking place. We would never expect us under theism, where God simply is designing all this to happen. I think he would do a better job than this shit. Okay. Secondly, there's no way to falsify design. I mean, how about, if you're going to say everything's designed, we can say you have no symmetry breaker between a design thing and a non-design thing. How do you tell the difference? You don't have a symmetry breaker, hence you cannot say that this is design. You don't know the counterfactual to that. Okay, go ahead. Okay, I think she left. Look, guys, I know as a theist, you're gonna not understand the science. You're gonna go, look, who made all this? This can't come from coincidence. That's a very appealing thing to say. The problem is that we actually have good explanations for our existence, or the way we are existing, without God. Right? If we found recently through science that there's better explanations than magic. Not this guy again, bro.
Yo, man.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Well, I wanted you are an atheist, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you some two questions. So you believe in the Big Bang, right? The Big Bang theory.
How old are you, by the way?
18,
What year were you born?
2005.
Okay. Yeah, the Big Bang model seems to be the best explanation for the evolution of our universe.
Right. So do you have an idea of what happened before the Big Bang?
There might not be a before the Big Bang. Right? We don't know that. But it's plausible that there's some kind of prior space-time or quantum field that gave rise to this, our inflationary universe through quantum fluctuation.
All right. There is also a theory. I'm just gonna base my argument off this theory that there were loose particles of helium, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen in nothingness really, because there was no universe before the Big Bang. So
No, we don't
basing
know that. We don't know that.
yeah, you're right. We don't know that, but there is a theory about that.
There might not even be a before the Big Bang. Look, I don't understand why you bringing up this point. Let's say we have no idea about the Big Bang. Let's say there was a beginning. How does this give credence to God existing?
Because well, I mean, everything is made of matter and energy, correct?
Okay.
Right. And you are familiar with the law of conservation of mass and energy. Mass
Okay.
cannot be. So if it cannot be created nor destroyed, then a higher being must have created it if it defies the laws of physics, right?
So
I don't
your
get why.
argument is if it can't be created, then it was created.
No, if it can't be
That's
created
not
naturally, then it must be a supernatural force creating it.
That seems like a non sequitur. There must be a non-natural source.
I
You're
mean,
presupposing that there is a creation.
this is a creation. I mean, at the same time, you can go into a philosophical standpoint and say that I don't even know that this might be all in your head right now.
That look, the ontology of an existence is irrelevant to this conversation. I'm not trying to attack solipsism here. I'm trying to get evidence for God. You're making a specific claim about a God. I'm asking for evidence of that. And
There is.
so far, all you're saying is who created this? And this seems like an argument from incredulity, because you're simply saying you're presupposing that there is a creation, and then you're saying there must be somebody doing it. That seems completely fallacious.
I mean, as far as I know, there is no indefinite way to prove the existence of God. There's no way to indefinitely prove anything.
Okay, but great. But is there any evidence of God? Is there any evidence?
Historically, perhaps with Jesus, it's light evidence, and you have to trust information being passed down generation from generation.
Really, sir? Your evidence for God is a guy existed,
and people claiming him to rise from the dead. A
Charles,
massive amount of people.
Charles Manson claimed he was God. Does that mean Charles Manson was God?
But no one believed him.
He had an entire cult who believed he was God.
I know, but the
They literally had a cult, the Manson cult.
I know. I've heard. Yeah, I've heard about that actually. And
Okay, great. So, do you think that he was God because he claimed it too?
we never know.
Okay, great. So then how could you use this as evidence? We don't know. So how the fuck can this be credence towards a God?
I mean, Jesus had a much larger field of influence.
Okay, great. So you're saying if there is a guy today that walked around and everybody believed he was God, that means he's God for sure?
He'd have to prove it, wouldn't he? And we have to take the word for the people in...
Okay, great. So how do you determine if this guy was God or not? All you have is a storybook written 2,000 years ago by ancient goat herders who didn't know jack about science. How the fuck could this be evidence for this God?
with their experiences. The Roman soldiers, I think I forgot the guy's name, but a corporal in the Roman army witnessed his resurrection, and many people witnessed his resurrection. People witnessed him healing people that were in ways that were impossible during then.
Right, but all these claims of witnesses are coming from where?
From individuals in the area, and it's been documented.
Where's the source? Where's your document of these things, of these
The
claims?
Bible.
Exactly, the Bible. It's all from the same source, right? You don't have any extra biblical sources for this claim. You have no independent evidence outside the Bible that verifies these claims. You're using the same source to prove the source. That's circular.
No, because the Bible is not just it wasn't just written in one short time span. It's written across hundreds of years by many different people. It's a
Right, but
you
there's
could say
nothing
it's a
outside of there's nothing outside of the books in the Bible that actually verifies these claims. It seems like
because
it's a story that anybody can make up.
because these scriptures of proof were merged together to form the Bible.
And does that make him more reliable because they were written many times? No.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if listen, I'll give an example. So, many years ago, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that Hippocrates existed?
Well, I'm sure we have some, documentation or some actual evidence of him. But I'm not refuting that Jesus existed. I'm refuting the idea that he was a god, right? That's a
Yeah.
different claim than some guy existing. Like, I'm sure Jesus may have existed and died on the stick. But how do you know that he rose from the dead like a zombie and did all these supernatural things that require a lot more evidence than just a story?
I mean, well, they obviously didn't have the technology to record things physically. So I don't think there is any better evidence than hyper-specific scriptures about Jesus' actions.
So you're just gonna take a book's word for it and just say, "Hey, this book said so. I'm a Christian now. Amen." Like that seems like really, really fallacious to me.
I mean, to be honest, it goes both ways. I mean, you could believe you could believe the Big Bang exists, but you're not certain that of course there's evidence for it, but you're not sure for certain that it does exist. There could be a different theory that comes along. We always evolve in terms of scientific discoveries.
Yeah, the difference is that the Big Bang is falsifiable. Your claims are not falsifiable. That's the difference.
How so?
Well, we can experiment with the Big Bang. I can look it through telescopes and see it happening, right? We cannot do that for God. That's the difference.
I mean, well, with Judgment Day, if Christianity is correct, then that would be proof of God, and we just have to wait. Likewise, in science, we cannot prove some
You
things
have no
if
way
you
of
don't have the.
falsifying it. You have no way of falsifying it. All you're going to say is, it might be right, and let's just wait till we all die. Keep your eyes peeled, guys, for the rapture.
Yeah, on Judgment Day.
This seems completely post hoc. It seems really, really, really fallacious to me.
Yeah, but that's the reason that Christianity and religions in general have been so prevalent. I mean, some of them have been disproved. That's correct. Some tribe religions, some other religions, but you can't disprove Christianity because there's always that off chance that it is correct.
No, there's no chance that's correct. I mean, talking donkeys, talking snakes, Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark, these things are completely contradictory to reality. It becomes the problem of evil, divine hiddenness issues. There are certain theistic paradigms that we can debunk.
So can I have one? I mean, you've mentioned the talking snakes and the talking animals.
Well, yeah, Adam and Eve is not possible. Noah's Ark's not possible.
I mean, yeah, because you've not seen it in your lifetime and in history, like recorded history. but it doesn't mean that.
No, there was no first person. That's not a possibility, right? It's not even possible. So it's like there's reasons to think that the Bible is not possible, right? It's just a story.
But there's a reason to think like otherwise as well.
No, there isn't. There's no reason to think that those biblical stories are good or even true.
How so? I mean, you don't really know until post death.
Then how the fuck can you claim that it is true right now?
Because the Bible has many cross references that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. You're going back to the same claim. The same original source is your claim. You can't do that. Circular.
Hello? So I'm sorry, that guy was getting nowhere. I have a good point. So you did say that you do believe that there was a person called Jesus, that there might have been, right? But about the supernatural stuff, how do we know it's possible?
How old is you?
I'm 17. If that's okay.
Did I just say how old is you? Now, how old are you? All right, let's see who else we got here.
Hello, we talked yesterday, but you kicked me out. Do you hear me?
Yeah, do you have a better point today?
No, I just wanted to address your point. You said there is no other sources besides the Bible that also claim these things. Right? You said that.
Okay, what the hell is your point? What's your evidence for God now?
No, I talked about this one. You said there is no other source, but there is. There are many sources. Do you know about the apostolic succession?
No. Now what how is this evidence for God?
No, let me make my point. You said a lie. You said nobody else recorded it. Only these 12 people who live with Jesus. But the apostolic succession goes till this day. We have church writings and writings of the people
Okay, great. When were
who
they
are
written?
alive
When were they
today.
written? When were these documents written? Are they contemporary accounts?
Yeah, you can look it up.
When were they written? When were they written, sir?
Yeah, I can give you one. You can look it up. It's the first
When were they written? What date?
first century. Let me make my point. Don't get in my
When
words,
were they
man.
written? What date
In the
were they
first
written?
century.
Okay, what date in the first century?
Wait a second. Oh my God. You can look it up. It's Ignatius of Antioch. He wrote seven in the year of 35 AD. 35 AD to 110. You can look it up.
Okay, great. So you're talking this could be 80 years after Jesus died?
No, he actually lived with the apostles.
Wait, he lived from 35 to 110?
Yes, that's how
So
long he
then
lived.
he was not contemporary. He did not live with Jesus. He was not an eyewitness to Jesus. He died.
Yeah, but yeah,
After Jesus
that's my
died.
point. But I was talking about the apostolic succession. You said there are no other ones besides
Yeah,
the Bible
that's not a
that
contemporary
recorded
piece
this.
of
But
evidence.
he,
That's not a
Ignatius of Antioch,
contemporary.
wrote the same. Let me speak. Ignatius of Antioch wrote the same thing that you can read in the New Testament.
That's
That's a
not a
historical
contemporary.
fact.
That's not a contemporary account for his resurrection. There is none outside the Bible.
Oh yeah, there is still. We have you know, it's a it got the sorry for my bad English. I'm from Germany. You know, Clemens of Rome. We got the brief. What's brief in English? Wait a second. A letter. We got a letter of one disciple named Barnabas. That's all outside. All
Okay, when
outside
did
the
Baba
Bible.
Boss live? When did Baba Boss live?
Barnabas was a disciple of Jesus. He
Okay,
saw
great.
Jesus.
So what would he say, what did he say in what did Baba Boss say in his letter?
And he said the same thing about the resurrection of Jesus Christ and who Jesus
What
Christ
did he
is.
say? What did he say?
Yeah, he said Jesus rose from the dead.
You just said
Yeah,
Jesus
you're
rose.
laughing, but I literally refuted your point because you said there are no other sources.
Okay,
And you said no other
when did
sources
this guy
besides the
live
Bible
and
says.
what did
That's
he
also a lie.
say? Sir,
So
please
pick.
stop. Listen, what did this what did Baba say? And when did he write that?
It's 3rd century document.
Okay, so do you know if it was before Jesus died or after he died?
They all wrote after he died. Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah,
So
don't look
they
this
were
stupid
not
because
contemporary
the
accounts
Apostle Paul
at
already
all.
document. Listen. The Apostle Paul already documented it that they preached it through speech and went around and said it. You say, oh, because they did it, they wrote it down later. It's invalid, but that's not good because they preach it with their mouth. They went around and preached it
Yeah, and why should we believe what they preached?
because they all died for it.
No, that's not true, sir.
That
We
is
don't
true.
know. We do not know if the disciples were martyrs, perhaps with the exception of probably Paul. But even if
Yeah,
these
okay,
guys died,
Paul's letters are the first letters, even
okay,
before the
look,
Gospels.
okay. Even if people died, which they didn't, nobody died for Jesus. But
Yes,
let's just
but
say they
you're
did.
ignorant.
Let's
You're
just say
lying
they
again.
did.
Ignatius died, and Paul
Oh
died. You
my
even
God,
admit it.
sir, please hold on. Let's just say they died for Jesus. How does
Okay.
this mean he died? How does this mean that he's a God?
How does it mean it? If someone rises from the dead again, I'm willing to hear what he has to say.
You're not understanding, sir. Let me ask
No,
you one more
if you
time.
wouldn't see someone rising from the dead again, you wouldn't listen what he has to tell you to do.
You didn't answer my question, sir. Let's say these people died for
Sir,
Jesus. Why does
yes.
this mean he is God?
Yeah, did you see ever someone rose from the dead again? I don't think so. That's his claim. His Jesus' claim is that he was God in the flesh.
Eh?
Eh? You understand that?
All right.
That's what
Have a
Jesus
good
his
day.
claim. Don't kick me again.
I'm sorry, sir, but I didn't understand a thing you said. Next.
Hi, my love.
Huh?
Yeah, what's up, bro? I just want to say, I don't even come out here to disagree with you. I just want to say, I think this whole live is kind of stupid because the whole point of religion is that there is no proof and that it's based on faith. There's no proof. And like, I'm not even religious, but that's just the whole point.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought there was proof for God. Oh, okay.
And another one
All
of my
right.
points I
Let
wanted to
me
make
just
is that,
stop the live. Guys, you hear that? Silly me. It's about faith. I never knew that. Silly me. All right, guys, let's all go pack our bags. Let's all go home. Let's all quit TikTok because it's not about proof, it's about faith. We know that, sir. We know you don't have fucking evidence for God. That's the reason why we're here to expose your ass.
Okay. I remember you were on here a couple of days ago pretending to be a Christian, claiming that the rapture was to that day. Is this what you do daily? Is make skits to try to like?
Is this what you do? You try to inspire critical thinking skills? You're making me mad. I don't like critical thinking. Hey,
Hello.
Hey, how's Patrick?
It's going good. This is my first time doing this.
Okay. And how can I help you?
I don't know. My question, I guess, is about the same as yours. So it says God is imaginary. Can you prove it? Can you prove me wrong?
SpongeBob, what's your evidence for God? I'm not a Krusty Krab.
Do you believe in the law of attraction?
Let's try it out. I am attracting $1 million. Ooh, $1 million.
Well, I guess, are you a successful person?
It didn't work.
Are you a successful person? Do you make a lot of money?
Yeah. What's your point, sir? What do you got?
So usually people that are very successful use the law of attraction. They put all of their energy and their thought.
How do you know it's not the? How do you know it's the law of attraction and not just them working hard?
Well, it would be like, yeah, like a laser focus. I'm going to get money. I'm going to do this. I know what I want. And you know, they'll have draw boards, and they follow this law of attraction.
Yeah,
It's not like,
that's the point. That's the point. Right? It's not falsifiable. There's no way of proving or demonstrating that it's the law of attraction and not just you're working your ass off, right? So, or coincidence. It could be coincidence
work
too.
aimlessly,
The
right?
point
You
is
can
there's
work-
no way to
you can
falsify
work-
the law of attraction. Okay.
Yeah. So,
thank you. I'm getting tired of this shit, guys. Actually, to be honest, I might go soon.
Nein, Hilla. Faggot.
What in the world was that? Yeah, we're getting all trolls now, guys. So maybe this guy. Hello?
Okay, Mike.
Hey.
Yeah, so back in 2010 I did an EVP. So it's like wasn't on purpose. I was just kind of like recording sounds from my Apple computer. And when I played it back, I heard a voice say Yahweh. Seriously. I'm not lying. So I didn't know what it meant. So I had to look it up. Right? So in a way, that's proof.
So it was like Yahweh or Yahoo. Well, how was it like?
No,
Yahweh.
No, I was just recording sound, and when I played it back.
What kind of
I
voice
turned
was
it up really loud with my headphones.
What kind of voice was it?
It was like Yahweh, just like that.
No
and
way.
I was like
Yahweh.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, just like that.
Whoa, that's crazy. Whoa.
It's true though. I know it's crazy, but it really happened.
Okay.
So I didn't know what it meant, right? So I had to look it up.
Is it possible that you maybe perhaps somehow interfere with somebody else talking on a radio, or maybe a radio station, or maybe you heard something that really wasn't there, or maybe it was something else but you interpreted it as Yahweh because of your confirmation bias. Are those possibilities?
Well, I mean, it was on a computer that I recorded it,
Oh, okay.
but
So computers are infallible.
but it was the sound in my room, right? Like where would it come from? I mean, like, because I'm a logical
Maybe
person
there
too.
is a fly that moved by and
No, but I'm just saying, like, I know
we
it's
don't
not proof
know.
to
It
you.
could be many things, sir. It could be a malfunction. It could be interception. It could be, we don't know. How could you possibly conclude this must be evidence for God
Well,
because it said Yahweh? You know, I don't see
yeah,
how you.
but I didn't even know what Yahweh meant at the time. I didn't even know what it was.
Okay, neither I do. Neither I do. Still, I don't either today. So I don't see why this matters. It's just a word. I don't see how
Okay.
this proves God exists.
Well, because there was no one else there. So where did it come from?
It could be a malfunction in the computer. It could be something else that you don't understand yet, right? Isn't it possible that another thing could have made that noise?
I can't see how, unless it was like an interference in the something in the computer. But that's the only thing I could come up with.
That's right. It could be interference. See,
But
there's one example of something it could have been. So unless you can show me that it must have been Yahweh or some man in the sky, I'm sorry, but there's really no reason to believe you, right?
well, I didn't even know what it meant. It just said Yahweh, like just like that, and I was like,
okay,
what is that?
Well, I'm sorry, but this is not evidence for Yahweh.
Yeah, but it's better than what the other guys presented. They didn't present anything, just their Bible.
This isn't evidence either. You have
But
you have confirmation bias here because you think that this is evidence of God, but it's unfalsifiable, right? That all you have is your intuition saying this must be God. That's the best you got here. It's not really going to do it for us.
Yeah, I know, but
anybody that has an ounce of rationality is never going to accept what you're saying as good evidence. I'm sorry.
But I'm saying, okay, Mike, put yourself in my position. If you recorded that in your room, you played it back the sound, and you're like, where did this come from? And it couldn't have come from anywhere.
Okay, Chris, if I was,
would it convince you?
If I was recording something in my room and I find out later on the recording that something said Bigfoot, does that mean Bigfoot's real?
Well, no, but
there you go, right? So
where did it come from, though?
Bigfoot or poo-poo monster or square circles, square circle, square. It doesn't mean they exist.
Yeah, but where did the sound come from? That's the thing. That's what I couldn't figure out.
That is the thing. That's the thing we don't know yet, and that's why you can't say it's God. What you're doing is saying I don't know where it came from, but it must have been God. That seems like a non sequitur.
Well,
do you have?
No, I'm not saying it was God.
Do you have the recording?
No, I don't, because it was in my Apple computer back in 2010, and my computer got wrecked, and I couldn't. I got the hard drive, but I can't get access to that recording. I tried. But I did actually record it.
Maybe Yahweh got erased.
Maybe. But it really happened, So I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, if it happened to you, what would you think?
I would think that there's something other than magic happened. I think I would say that there's other possibilities. That's all.
Well, I kind of wondered if interference could cause it, but I couldn't see how. But
you can, sir. Computers work on radio waves.
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah, just keep thinking, keep staying curious. We don't know what's out there, sir. There could be God. There could be Yahweh. I doubt that he would talk to you on a computer. I'm sure he doesn't like apples because, remember, apples are the forbidden fruit, right? So he probably wouldn't like Apple computers. He might like Androids. So everybody that has an Android, check out. You might hear some Yahweh, right? So Just keep your ears peeled and keep your eyes open. There could be some Yahwehs out there. Okay?
Yeah. But at least it's better proof than what the other.
Have a good day, sir. Have a good day. Yeah, I think I'm done, guys, for today. I've reached my threshold of stupidity. It's at the mark. Anymore, and I just go nuts. Anyway, look, guys, there's a lot of things we don't understand about the universe. There's a lot of mystery out there. There's a lot of things we don't understand. And I'm sure there's many things that we're wrong about. There's many things I'm probably wrong about today that in 100 years to look back and go, wow, they were dumb for believing that. But just because there are things that we don't understand, it doesn't give you the right to say God. I'm sorry, it doesn't. We should always keep an open mind, always continue learning, falsifying, experimenting, using science, reasoning, before we start saying God did it.